Hello everybody, my name is Jaron, and 2 years ago I released a Minecraft Villager Professions tier list. This was the second video ever released onto the Jaron channel, but it's currently unlisted for two reasons. One, I don't find this video funny. It's charming, like there's some jokes that land, but for the 20 minutes it is, it's maybe funny or entertaining twice. And then, number two, I don't agree with most of these opinions anymore because I got so much stuff wrong about villagers. You'll see here in the next little bit because we're going to revisit this tier list and I'm going to say what I got wrong, what I got right, and in the background you'll watch me doing some villager stuff. I think it'll be me working with some iron villagers and making that little trading hall, so that'll be cool. Oh, also I should let you know this is going to be Java edition only, because I'm not really familiar with Bedrock, which I did play Bedrock when I made this video, so those opinions did influence it, but with updates and stuff, those opinions honestly just got changed. So the first part of the video, I talk about the F tier, which is Nitwit. I think this one was kind of obvious. Yeah, I'm right, Nitwits are kind of useless, like any other villager has more point. I don't even know why I started the video off with that. Okay, so I'm looking at D tier now. So in D tier, I put the leather worker. Let me pull up the trades real quick. Okay, but here we are, leather worker. So the leather worker really only has two good trades. Is the leather trade to trade leather for emeralds and also be able to buy saddles. Saddle is just the easiest way to get saddles, so it's kind of there, but you don't need saddles that much. So I'm not going to use that trade much as a factor. Here's one thing, though, is the leather trade. This one is kind of interesting because I put this in D tier because, like, oh, you normally don't have leather a lot because, like, cows, like, you kill cows, but you don't kill that many, so it's hard to you have to grind for leather. There's no automatic way. But as I started to play on, like, SMPs and servers and stuff, I think we move leather worker up to D tier, and just for the fact that the Hoglin, guys, I'm a Minecraft YouTuber and I don't know the name. I think it's a Hoglin. The Hoglin farms. Those are just little farms. We have one in the 100 by 100 world, and it's a great source of food because it'll kill Hoglins and give you cooked pork chop, but also leather. So it's like I always build that farm because it's just so easy. You get good food from it early game. So you just kind of have that leather left over. So leather worker, I would say, is a bit better. Hopefully that point makes sense. Guys, this is the first ever, like, off-the-cuff just talking I've done. So, hopefully you guys like this. Okay, next up on the tier list in D tier is the Shepherd. This is a villager that will mainly deal with wool trades, and I think I was justified in putting it into D tier. Honestly, I gave it way too much credit. I made a remark about how it's useful to be able to buy colored wool, but please, do not use this as your main source of wool. Just go out and build a sheep farm. They're so easy to build. There's nothing else. Like, you can sell dye to them, but it's not worth it. Let me look at the dyes. So the one trade that, like, does stand out in particular is the white dye trade, or just some of the dye trades, like the red, because you can get that from flour. It's just hard to justify this dye trade because it's so random if you'll get the dye trade you want, because you could either get white dye, which is just like basically selling bones, which actually would be a great way to make it, but it's a 1 in 5 chance of getting that compared to like a gray or a lime or a light blue or a black, which just those dyes are not good to trade. I'm giving the Shepherd way too much credit than it deserves. It stays in D tier. So the next one in D tier is the stonemason. I'm looking at the trades right now. I am going to be a bit biased on this. Normally, the stonemason isn't that good. You can sell them stone, but it's not worth it. Like, you'll see in the future is that there's these villagers that can make you good emeralds, but you're better off putting your time into some other villagers. So honestly, the stone trade is pointless. Like, I have tons of stone in my Minecraft world, but it's just not worth my time to try and trade it and try and cure the villager, get them lower prices. The one thing I am biased, though, is getting the colored terracotta or glazed terracotta. Those are limited in the 100 by 100. This is the only way we can get them. But in normal general use, you're better off just like mining your own terracotta and dyeing your own terracotta. So I think this one does stay in D tier. Okay, so now we're moving up to C tier for what Jaron put. We haven't made too many changes. Actually, I'm quite surprised by how much I got right. But I do get a lot wrong in the future. It's these A tier ones that I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You're so dumb. Oh, wait, this one right here. This is the farmer one. This is the one I got so mad about. I put farmer in C tier. So I think the reason I put farmer in C tier was due to spite. So when I created this tier list, we were about to hit a new update. I want to say it was maybe 1.15 we were getting. No, it couldn't have been that. There was a trade change because it used to be 4 melon slices to trade for an emerald, but then they updated it because that was way too broken to 4 melon blocks for 1 emerald. And that was basically why I was spiting, because I was like, this is such a dumb trade now. Oh my gosh, the melon, so farmers have the melon and pumpkin trade, and that is such a good trade. That is what my current use for getting experience and emeralds is, just by trading with those guys. You can easily crank out a good melon and pumpkin farm in about 2-3 hours, and you'll already have way too much. You won't even be able to trade fast enough. Then if you start to cure the villagers, which you only have to cure them once to be able to get the 1 melon, like a 1 melon block for 1 emerald trade, or 1 pumpkin for 1 emerald. It is so overpowered. One thing I make remark of is the suspicious stew trades. I somehow gave that a plus because the saturation one, that I don't know why I pointed out the suspicious stew as being a good food source when right under it is the golden carrots. Because if you've already cured your villagers and you've already had it 1 melon for 1 emerald for 3 golden carrots. If I were to move the farmer, I would move him up to S tier. This is an amazing villager because the pumpkins and melons are so easy. Use this villager. The next villager I put in C tier is the butcher, which was so dumb because I actually ranked it just a little bit higher than the farmer, which we've already established. The farmer is goated. It's amazing. And now the butcher, I'm moving it down to D tier, okay? This villager I've worked with before, it's kind of trash. So the one thing I used it for in the 100x100 Minecraft world is the raw pork chop trade. See, remember that hoglin farm we made a while back, and then that was our food source that gave us cooked pork chop and leather? I changed how they died to wither roses, and that ended up killing them and not cooking the food, so you would get lots of raw pork chop. And I would try to trade with these butcher guys, but it just wasn't worth it. Is to be able to get it to be 1 pork chop for 1 emerald, you had to cure them twice, and they would still increase their prices very liberally. It was so weird. The foods you can buy from them are pretty trash as well. You have rabbit stew in the novice tier, which just, non-stackable food is just not worth your time. It has never been worth your time because it takes up so much space, and it just doesn't do anything for you. In the apprentice level, I think it's called, there's cooked pork chop and cooked chicken, but we already have a cooked pork chop farm, so buying cooked chicken is useless as well. You can also sell dried kelp blocks. I tried to do that in the 100x100 world, but I found it just was not worth my time. With villagers, there's good, better, best, and once you get a best, these villagers become pointless, and this isn't even an early game villager. The only time I would go say like, hey, this good villager is actually a lot better is if it's early game. We'll see some of those villagers here soon. So the last one in C tier is the weaponsmith. This one is debatable. I would probably, I think I might keep it where it's at. So the weaponsmith, armorer, and toolsmith are all similar in what they do is that you get them so you can buy diamond gear from them. The weaponsmith sells the weaker few of them. They sell a diamond axe and a diamond sword. One thing is the diamond axe can be found in the toolsmith, so really the only one you would get it for is the diamond sword. And diamond swords you don't really need many of, you just need one in a normal Let's Play. So you're really just leveling up this villager to save yourself 2 diamonds. None of the other trades are that good. There's the iron trade, which if you have an iron farm, yeah, it works. But once again, good, better, best, farmer just beats that one out. Like, I would rather trade pumpkin and melons than iron ingots. Now we're moving on to B tier, and for some reason in this older video, I put Fisherman in B tier. This one, I think I almost had a hit. It was almost a good idea, but there's just something so wrong with the Fisherman that honestly, I think I'm going to move it down to D tier. Because the one remark I make is that the good trade is the oak boat trade. So we should probably establish why I thought this was a good trade. So there's a Fletcher. We'll talk about the Fletcher here soon. And they will sell, if you give them 32 sticks, they'll give you an emerald, which that equates to being 4 logs, like just bare logs. Now, remember that number, because we come over to boats. Boats you can craft with 1 1/4 logs. So in my brain, I went, hey, it's so much cheaper to sell this villager boats than it is to sell a Fletcher sticks. But here's the one huge problem about it. Boats are not stackable. And this is actually something that appears in the meta for the 100 by 100 is that we do not sell unstackable items, because that means you're selling manually one of them each time. So you sell one, sell another, sell another, sell another. Whereas the farmer, you walk up to it, you sell it 12 pumpkins, you sell it 12 melons, and you're just done like that. And you have 24 emeralds instead of going back and forth, back and forth. It just becomes a mess trying to sell boats. So this villager has nothing else good about it. We're moving it down to D tier. I think that was just so dumb of me to put it in B tier. So speaking of Fletcher, we're moving on to A tier. Now the Fletcher, I have some gripes with. I put it in A tier. I think I'd only move it down to... oh my gosh, I don't know where I want to put it now. Okay, we're going to flip a coin. Heads, it goes in A tier. Tails, it's B tier. It's heads. It's going in A tier, I guess. So it stays where it's at. So the one thing good about the Fletcher is it's probably one of the first villagers people will ever get because of the stick trade. You can sell, as I said, you can sell 32 sticks for 1 emerald, which is just 4 logs, which early game getting logs is quite easy. It still takes a while, but it's not a grindy resources. You can chop down trees pretty effectively, pretty quickly. That's basically all you'll get from this villager is you can get enchanted bows and crossbows. Not really worth it. You can sell it and you can buy arrows. Buying arrows, kind of nice until you get mob farm. So we're going to have to focus on this stick trade. Now, one thing I have a problem with this stick trade is people will go, hey, this stick trade is a really good way to get emeralds. And then they will not try to do anything else. That is my biggest gripe. I will join Minecraft servers that are well established, and I'm like, hey, where are your villagers at? I'd like to trade to get some books. And they're like, oh yeah, we have Fletchers. And it's like, really? Fletchers? Because this is not a good way to get sticks, because it's manual labor. With a melon and pumpkin farm, it's automatic. It does it for you. There's nothing you have to do. You just build the farm. And you really only have to build it like 3 or 4 times for it to be worth your time. But the stick trade, it's always 100% manual unless you do a bamboo farm, but I don't know if a bamboo farm would necessarily be worth it. It's just so frustrating when you join a Minecraft server and they're like, yeah, just trade with them. You have to go mine for wood for ages just to be able to buy a diamond chest plate. Because also curing it. So I see people a lot of the time cure Fletchers to get 1 stick for 1 emerald. You have to cure that bad boy so many times. I've done it before in the 100 by 100 world. The lowest I could ever get it to was 6 sticks for an emerald, and then it would always bump up back to 7. And still, you're chopping trees, manual labor, it's not worth it. I think because in the 100 by 100, I did a lot of chopping trees. That's why I have a big gripe with it now. And it's like, really? You're going to make me come onto your server, and I'm just going to chop trees, get diamond armor, and never want to play again. I'm moving it down to B tier. Screw what the coin said. I'm moving it down to B tier due to spite. Next one I put in A tier is Cartographer. This one is moving down. I'm not sure where down yet. I'll figure that out as I talk about it. But the one thing I talked about it being really good for was the glass pane trade. You can trade it 11 glass panes for 1 emerald. So this is quite a decent trade. It's good enough. So the reason I was like, oh, cartographers, I love cartographers, is I just come from, I want to say 1,000 Days in Minecraft Hardcore, the one where Luke the Notable, he uses glass pane trades a lot, where he goes out, mines sand, smelts it down, makes glass panes. It's a really good trade. But the thing is, it's a lot of manual labor, which it's just not necessary. He later on does change to melon and pumpkins, which is a great source. Oh my gosh, I seem like a cult for melon and pumpkins. So yeah, so after I'd watched that 1,000 days video, I was like, this is so cool. So I ended up building a place in my realm where I would go out, I would mine sand, and I would come back and trade with cartographers. But I found it's just kind of tedious. Another thing with the stacking rule is you can only trade 5 times at a time. Yeah, you can only trade with them 5 times at a time. So you're just like, it's a lot more clicking than it's necessary. Hopefully Tyson will show you a little demonstration. Just like, you're clicking a lot more to trade with the villagers. I'm thinking I'm going to move it down to C tier. The only thing that I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool is the Woodland Explorer map or the Ocean Explorer map. But I've been a 100 by 100 boy for about a year now, so I don't do much exploring. So don't really care for it. Okay, in A tier, we have the Cleric. This one for 100 by 100 is 100% A tier because it provides us with redstone and lapis, infinite redstone and lapis. But in a general Minecraft sense, I'm just going to move it down to B tier. I don't have anything personally against it. I just didn't have really good points to back it up. The rotten flesh trade kind of works, but it's tedious. If you try and make emeralds from rotten flesh, you're not going to be having a good time because you're just killing zombies at a grinder. It takes forever to get 32. It's just not worth it. You can buy redstone and lapis from them for 1 emerald apiece. The lapis, not too worth it in a normal world. It's great in 100 by 100, but not the normal world. But redstone dust, I could actually see being quite useful. Because I've been able to do a lot of redstone projects without needing to go mine for redstone. Because I think it's annoying. Because here's the thing, is in this new cave update, you'll be like, oh, I want to build with redstone. But, oh, wait, I don't have any. So you have to go down and mine deep slate to be able to find some. Which that just takes forever. It's very tedious. And I think having an infinite source of redstone dust is very useful in a world. There is the witch farm, which gets you a lot of redstone dust, but those are normally big projects. And I think the Cleric is a good, easy way to get some. Just, hey, I need some redstone. Bam, I got some. And the last point I had to protect this guy was the Ender Pearl trade for speedruns. But as we can see, Minecraft now doesn't use that anymore. You now barter with piglins. So the Ender Pearl trade is useless. So I don't know if I said, I think I just moved them down to B tier. Thank you, Cleric. You're great, but not good enough. So the last tier, instead of being called S tier, I thought I would be a funny boy and call it Stonks Pro, which really all that served to do was date this video very hard. In this tier, I put the Librarian. This one, I think it deserves to be in Stonks Pro. The one thing special about the Librarian is it can sell you any book, especially treasure enchantments, which those are ones you can't get from the enchanting table, like Mending, Frostwalker. Really, you only need Mending. Frostwalker's kind of useless. And the Curses of Binding and Curses of Vanishing. I would say this does deserve to be an S tier. It is so handy to be able to just be like, right, I need efficiency 5, so you can just go buy efficiency 5. I've done that so much with villagers. I actually quite, like in lifesteal, I wish I had these villagers around. I don't, which is kind of a shame. But it's just enchanted books. I don't think there's much I can say to defend it. Yeah, so because it sells every single book except the new Warden enchantment, but I don't know much about the new Warden enchantment, so it's whatever. I'm going to keep it in S tier. So for some reason, I forgot to talk about the Armorer and... Oh, no, I did. Wait, hold up. I'm looking at this. I put Toolsmith in C tier and put Weaponsmith above it. Bro, how dumb am I? Whenever given the opportunity, I will always pick Toolsmith over Weaponsmith. Diamond Sword can just... I don't care about it. But the tools, that's what's useful. That's what makes Minecraft good, is being able to build stuff with tools. I'll tell you guys, I will go for tools over armor any day, because I'd rather get resources fast, be able to kind of move around a bit faster, be able to get more stuff so I can build faster, because that's what I love about Minecraft, is just building these dumb projects. So the Toolsmith and I would say Armorer, I'm going to put them in A tier because you get diamond armor easily. Normally it's an easy way to get diamond armor, which is very helpful, but normally I don't find myself buying diamond armor. Normally I'll mine diamonds before I get this villager, just because I'll get a Fortune 3 book from the Librarian, which is an S tier, and then I'll use that to mine diamonds. It's just kind of nice, though, to be able to be like, right, I just want a set of diamond armor, and you can make a second set, and you can put, like, blast protection on it. I've done that a few times for, like, breaking TNT and stuff. So... And then the Toolsmith, it's really nice to be able to just buy tools right away. That's basically all they have good going for them. And I think that is it. Now, there is one last profession that I talk about in this video because I was trying to be woke and cool. Maybe, it's up to you. But I put in S tier unemployed because unemployed has so much potential. It could be anything. It has the dream to do whatever it wants to do. I don't think it worked out. Honestly, I don't think anyone made it to that part of the video because this was a 20-minute video of me just rambling, which, now that I think about it, is what this video is. So I think we're just going to end it there. Here is the final tier list. Here's what it looks like. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. Look at that comparison. And just the last thing to say to you guys is use farmers. They are OP.